Welcome to Jobbed Out, the wrestling editorial that reminds you that Allie isn't the only bunny in the wrestling business. I don't know why it surprises people how intertwined pro wrestling and the sex industries really are. Lots of wrestlers got their start as bouncers in nightclubs. Lots of female performers did their stints in porn or modeling before ever being discovered. Both crowds do have the stigma of being told how crude or lewd their interests are by people who have no concept of fun. And each industry has an industry standard. You're a wrestler? That's nice. But you perform for the WWE? Now that's a big deal. Just the same. Oh, you pose nude? Well, 2020 shows us anybody can do that. But you were one of Hugh Hefner's Playboy bunnies. Whoa, that's a whole other level. But there are quite a few names that are actually at the top of both of these games. And that's what we're looking at today. It's time to get down in the grotto, folks. This is Freaks 5 Playboy Models in Pro Wrestling. Number 5. Tracy Brooks. Let's start off this little list about TNA with a bit of TNA. A product of Scott D'Amore's Border City Wrestling, Tracy was a Canadian sunshine girl, which is not as spicy as the British version, where she actually told the interviewer that she aspires to be the next WWF superstar. She would find her way into TNA in 2003 and would be off and on with the company for about 9 years. In 2009, she was announced to be the first TNA knockout to ever pose for Playboy, but they opted not to publish her photos in the magazine. Don't fret though, her pics did see the light of day through Playboy's Cyber Club. As for the rest of her career, well, she never did make it to the WWE, but she did marry a current AEW star in Kazarian. Number 4. Kimberly Page. The booty babe herself wasn't a Playboy cover girl, but rather a regular fixture. She appeared in the magazine several times over the course of about 6 years. Often associated with her then-husband Diamond Dallas Page after meeting him in a bar. A tale as old as time itself. Anyway, Kimberly and DDP were a regular pairing in WCW for over half a decade before she turned heel on him, rebranding as a self-absorbed narcissist and aligning with the New Blood until DDP's on-screen exit from the company in 2000. Number 3. Sable. You can't talk wrestling and Playboy and not mention the one who started it all. Sable was hired by the WWF entirely because of her stopping power. Considerably older than the other women entering the business, Sable basically accompanied her then-husband Mark Merrow to Stamford when he wanted to jump from WCW. Not only did she turn Vince's crank, so to speak, to the point where he made her the superstar. On screen, she debuted alongside Hunter Hearst Helmsley as Arm Candy before being thrust into a storyline that would pair her alongside her husband. She then gained success when Merrow went down injured and became Raw's sex bomb until Mark, now no longer a wild man, flew into a jealous rage. Ultimately, Sable would challenge, defeat, and embarrass Merrow on a regular basis, completely destroying his career in the WWF. It's alright though, because Sable was the Merrow that the WWE really wanted. She'd become women's champion after the belt was reinstated, and would appear on 3 Playboy Magazine covers. Her story is long, takes many twists and turns, and is worth an editorial all on its own, so we'll talk about her more at length in the future. But for now, number 2. Tori Wilson. Yeah, we're in WWE Hall of Fame territory now. Wilson's career began not too differently from Sable's. She attended a WCW show with her then-boyfriend and was spotted, pulled out of the crowd, and asked to accompany Scott Steiner as one of his freaks. Eventually debuting on screen as Samantha in a feud between David and Ric Flair, much of Tori's first year at the company was as David's valet, until she turned on him to align with Billy Kidman. When WCW was bought out by the WWE, she joined the company as part of its invasion, giving us perhaps one of the most horrifying scenes in WWE history.
And I've got a big surprise for you, for Mr. Mac Daddy. Tori?
She would have these weird, romantic feuds, is that the term I'm looking for? With Dawn Marie and later Sable. She was generally the eye candy of whatever show she was on. Now we all know fans' general view of Tori Wilson being in the Hall of Fame, but I'm gonna give an unpopular opinion here. By the end of her run, she was not a bad wrestler. Not unlike Trish or Candice Michelle, Tori was figuring it out, but ultimately injuries led to her hanging up the boots. Oh, right, and of course, not only did Playboy come knocking, but they did it twice. First as a solo cover girl, and then as part of a duo with Sable, because hot lesbian action, am I right, fellas? So before we get to number 1, I do have a couple of honorable mentions. Alundra Blaze. Yes, before Sable, we could have seen another WWF Women's Champion completely uncovered. Medusa herself revealed on Legends with JBL a few years back that she had done a photo shoot with Hefner's mag but never signed the release forms. She did say, though, that she has copies of the shoot, and some pictures are out there somewhere, but to think of what could have been. Missy Hyatt. Similar to Alundra Blaze, Missy's photos never got published. Not quite sure if it was her choice though, or if they just decided not to use them. You'd be surprised how many people do photo shoots that never see the light of day. Ashley Allen. Now I know what you're saying. Who? Ashley was a Playboy centerfold before she ever set foot in a wrestling ring. In fact, Playboy was the reason that Vince McMahon even signed her, but they just had no idea how to use the girl. Jerry Lawler drooled over her once during the Raw Bowl, and not unlike Sable, she was also in a short failed pairing with Triple H, and well, that's pretty much it for her. So with that out of the way, who is the number 1 Playboy model also featured in Really, you already know the answer to this. Number 1, Chyna. Was there ever any doubt? After snubbing Chyna in the wrestlers also in porn movies list, I had to make it right here. While Sable was the first WWE name to get on a Playboy cover, Chyna was definitely the biggest. It propelled her career to ultra stardom, and it almost didn't even happen. Word is now that Chyna was given an ultimatum when she was with the WWE. You can be a Playboy model, or you can be the world champion, but you can't have both. I don't know, I guess Vince didn't like the idea of his top champ posing nude. Wait a minute. Anyway, Chyna spent her whole life being a large, manly, bodybuilding figure. Her career was built on her basically beating up the guys. It's not hard, pardon the wordplay, to see why she made the choice she did. She had her chin bones shaved down, she had breast implants, Joni wanted to be seen as a woman, and Playboy made her look like one of the sexiest women alive. And there you have it, 5 pro wrestlers who also posed for Playboy. So I want to ask ya, which Playboy models were your favorites? Who do you think was the best in both worlds? And for the older fans out there, did you end up buying or owning any of these mags? Let me know in the comments and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more because I want you to be a part of the conversation too. For now though, I better get my shoulders off the mat, so thank you for tuning in to Jobbed Out. I'll catch you next time.